What's up, everybody? Today we're back, but this time I have a few friends of mine that flew down from New York and Chicago, and we're going to be going along with our day and showing you guys the behind the scenes, what people in that 8-figure category of this business actually talk about at a high level. So here's my friend Sayed right here from Chicago, flew down, came over for 2 days, and we're just going to be going over our summer, tell you guys exactly how our summer went, show you a little bit of the behind the scenes of what we're working on, and show you exactly how he's built a business that's actually bigger than mine, that me personally, I've been trying to get to over the last 2 years. All right, guys, welcome back. So today I'm here with Michael Chang and Sayed. And the topic of today, we're not really going to dive too much deep into the nitty-gritty of the Airbnb business. We really want to hear people's opinions, and I'll give you my opinion on the general overall trajectory of the short-term rental market and see where it's going to go over the next 12 months, 24 months, travel demand, and the overall macro situation of the business. So, Michael, main question I'm going to ask you first is, what do you think is happening with travel demand going into this winter?
I think travel demand is going to be similar to last year. We had a lot of pent-up demand to go to Europe. I think that was a big reason of the softness we saw in Q3 of this year, but I think that's going to rebound, and we're going to see Q4 at the same or even better than 2022.
Do you think the same thing, or do you think it's completely opposite?
So I'm specific from my market because that's what I know, right? So in my market, there was so much pent-up demand in 2022. Better RevPARs than I could ever imagine. And then in 2023, I have a reduction of RevPARs of 25 to 30%. But I think this is what's going to be the rate going forward. I'm still profitable on a unit basis at that dollar amount, but I think it's not going to be any worse than what happened this year, and it's not going to increase any next year, so it's going to stay flat year over year.
So flat for you?
Yes.
Okay. So generally, me speaking, I think because of the amount of supply that's basically entered the market, consumers have a lot to basically pick from and choose from. The days of finding a Class C garbage apartment in a horrible neighborhood and furnishing it with the cheapest furniture possible and still making money, those days are long over. Do you agree with that?
Design is going to be extremely important going forward in this business. So exactly, those IKEA out of the box days are long gone.
I still use IKEA, man. What are you talking about?
You have to
I use the
really
nice IKEA stuff.
use the nice IKEA stuff. You have to put real design behind your properties if you want to be in the top 25% and continue to make money throughout the cycle.
What do you think? You think the same thing?
So for me, I think that if you stick to regulated markets where there's a constraint on the supply, you should be okay. If you're going to these markets that have no regulations and they are the next trendy,
what?
so like you hear about Arizona markets or like Scottsdale or Florida markets, or like Austin, for example, where regulations is very easy to get short-term rentals. I think there's going to be.
I don't agree with that, though.
You don't agree with the Austin market?
And just in general, that statement.
Yeah.
What I don't agree with is that, sure, yeah, there are markets that have no restrictions, for example, like Austin.
Yeah.
But it depends on the quantity of that certain supply, of that certain product. For example, Austin is extremely oversaturated with 1-bedrooms,
Yes.
studios. They make no money.
Right.
But Austin does not have enough 4-bedrooms, 5-bedroom houses.
Right.
So in a market like that, you're making an insane amount of money because the demand in Austin is not changing, right? But the supply is pretty much increasing forever for studios and 1-bedrooms. 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom houses, not the case. You're going to still make a lot of money in those markets that have no regulations, as long as you have a product that basically not a lot of people have.
So I agree with that point. The regulations of the market matter, but they're not deterministic. What's really important is making sure that you're using the right data tools to understand where the demand and the supply growth is in your market, and utilizing that information to be very smart in what type of inventory you're adding on. If you can do that properly, you're going to continue to make money.
Do you guys feel like certain zip codes in certain markets are better than other locations? For example, certain locations of Austin are better than others, where certain locations of Chicago are way more profitable than others. Do you think that's a lot more important now than ever?
So you obviously want to be around areas that people want to go to. So, for example, in Chicago, you have the downtown. That's where a lot of the attractions are. So a lot of people are going to go and want to stay as close as possible to downtown. So yes, I do believe those better neighborhoods provide better
The
value.
rent is also way, way higher.
Right. So you have to manage that rent to revenue ratio. You don't want to be taking these A-class buildings and that has crazy amount of rents, and all of a sudden there's not enough demand to able to go and you want to make money on it. So it goes. You have to be able to manage those expectations.
Like, I still have a house in the hood, right? And I have some apartments in the hood, and the rents are so low, where the margin, actually, they make more money than my A-class stuff that's in downtown because the rents are so inflated, so high.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's margin, too.
And I think that's the right point, right? At the end of the day, it's the revenue to rent margin. If you can manage that properly, you're going to make money. It's all about the rent. If you get the rent low enough, you can make money in every single market. So get that part of the equation right. You can make a lot of mistakes and it will be forgiving. But if you get the rent wrong, you're swimming against the, you're running against the wind the entire time you're in this business. You really can make money in any single market. If the rent's low enough,
pretty
you can
much.
make money in any single market. It doesn't really matter, actually. Like, the shittiest market will work.
When you guys are negotiating new deals, would you rather, and you're negotiating rent concessions,
Yeah.
would you rather have a net effective that's a lot lower, or just want the whole of the concession up front? Or does it even matter to you?
So it's best to get it up front because you never know how long the lease is actually going to last when you actually get into it, and you might not end up taking it to the end of the lease because some situation might happen. But if you've been in a relationship with the landlord and you know it's going to happen towards throughout the whole, you're going to be with them throughout the whole term of the lease, then yeah, if you're okay with the cash flow, up front, then you can take it to the term of the lease. But for me, I like taking everything up front as possible.
You always take the money up front. If it's the same amount of money, there's no reason to wait to take it.
All right, fair enough.
It's risk you don't need to take.
How much are you spending right now to furnish like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom?
We're gonna spend a little bit more now because decoration is more important. So before we were $10,000 per 2-bedroom. Now we're 10, 11, 11.5 per 2-bedroom
Spending
because
$12,000 for a 2-bedroom?
all I know, I mean, we're spending more now because we want to make it nicer.
Well, you saw my 2-bedroom yesterday was $2,500. I spent
know.
$2,500 to furnish that one.
I thought I was at IKEA when I saw that.
Yeah, it was IKEA. It was nice IKEA though.
The chair was. I like the chair. The chair was a nice.
So the reason why my furnishing costs are a lot lower these days is because I have a huge supply of used furniture that I'm buying. There's used furniture basically left and right that I'm buying is saving like 60-50% of the cost. So obviously if you can use used furniture, it'll decrease the time for your cash and cash return. It'll increase your overall, the time to basically get your cash back is decreasing by a lot. It helps a lot in the long run, especially with expansion. Because of preserved capital. But
How much furniture have you bought so far used?
I honestly don't know. Like literally too much. Like at least 100 units worth of old furniture.
Wow.
Are they all in use or are they in storage?
No, they're all in use.
That's great.
I closed down like 6 storage units in the last like 6 weeks alone.
That's
that's
fantastic.
good.
That's
Big one.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Huge one.
I'm never gonna buy stuff from storage, like stuff from like used furniture, and just stuff it in storage for 6 months. I would never do that.
Why did you buy?
This guy has furniture that's been there since 2020.
So I acquired a lot of furniture from Stay Alfred, and I was holding a lot of their junk, those ugly green chairs, for like 3 years. Finally, recently, months ago, I'm like, hey, I need to get rid of this like $3,000 a month warehouse rent payment. I'm just gonna trash everything I had. I trashed it, and I was very happy. And then 1 month later, I got let go of a lot of leases, so I had a lot of furniture again. So I ended up getting a lot of storage units. The cost of the storage units is now more with that, and I'm gonna need to have more of those. So it just. Sometimes I think I'm too smart, and then I make the wrong move, and then now I suffer for it. But it is what it is.
How many units of furniture are you sitting on right now?
So I'm about to get handed back maybe around like 25 apartments worth of furniture that I'm gonna have to figure out how to put in units now.
Like besides the 25,
Yeah.
how many currently are you sitting on right now?
So I have like those garages of like 3 of those storage units. Plus I have basements in my buildings that I'm full up. And then what's annoying is one time I had to let go of 10 units in my basement. And I put the furniture in my basement, and then it was a huge storm in Chicago, and then all my
ruined?
furniture, all of it, it got ruined. So it was just like timing was terrible. I wish I just trashed it from the get-go because I moved it and then had to trash it. So I'm paying like triple the labor and shit. But it is what it is. Like things always happen when you're in business, right?
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. Okay. What's one thing you're focused on this winter to increase your margins and decrease costs?
So my operations are pretty tight, but now I see what Hamza is paying in some of my markets for cleaning, and I think I have more room now to go lower than what I've been paying.
I'm
But
also hiring only Mexicans. That's the reason why.
I don't put me in that shot. I don't want to be canceled.
What's the one thing that you think you can decrease margin on?
So we talked about this a little bit. So Hamza compared to me his virtual assistant costs that he has in the Philippines versus mine, and because he has more units than me, I should have at least the same amount of VAs or less than him because he has more units. But with that being said, my virtual assistant team in the Philippines is 5x of what Hamza is.
How much are you paying a month right now?
So $55,000 a month I'm paying for that team. So
I'm paying 10K.
you're paying 10K, right?
Right.
So I'm paying 2K. So I'm paying a lot. So it's because I was growing exponentially during the pandemic and my ref pars were crazy and I wanted to create this perfect business, but all of a sudden things changed completely. So now I have to change my organization to account for my unit count, to account for my
So just VAs is the only thing you think you can decrease?
because now I have to also look at my runners and my on-site team.
That I think is a big waste of money.
Yeah, so I think both, because my runners are 4x the cost of one employee
Which is
in
crazy.
the Philippines. So I think it's going to be on the both sides. I need to start reducing on both sides because I need to be able to make sure I keep my healthy margins. We talked about my margins, and these guys were a little concerned about how thin my margins were in my business. So I got to figure out how to bump those back up so I'm in a good position.
Yeah, there's a concept called zero-based budgeting.
Yeah.
And I think you should think about that as you examine your
So
business.
for the audience, tell everybody what zero-based budgeting
So
is.
zero-based budgeting is when you go and look at your business, you don't assume last year's level for cost or revenue for anything. You start from zero. So you start from zero and what do I actually need? Instead of starting at, I have $55,000 for overhead, how much of that do I need to cut? You actually start at zero, what do I need? Invert that thinking, and that's how you're really
That's only
going
for variable
to...
cost, though, right?
That's really good. Actually, I want to take that back to my team and say, hey, what do we need for what we
Yeah,
do?
No, but that only
no,
applies
like-
to your variable cost, though. It doesn't count to all your fixed costs, like your rents and things, utilities, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's things that you can manage.
Things you can actually have control over.
You have things you can
Right,
manage,
right.
but all
You're not saying go over negotiate all your leases or anything like that, right?
I mean, actually, but if you really think about it, that actually should be,
you try, bro. Landlord's gonna
you can
throw you out the
try,
building.
right? But I think that's where, if you have a bloated cost structure, that's something that is extremely valuable. You start at zero, and then you're like, what do I need? Not what do I have and what can I cut?
Right. No, that's a good point. I'm going to take that back to my team and try to implement that.
You should basically have one person to be like, hey, all right, do it. That you're smartest person. You have no budget. How do I actually go and scale? And how do we maintain this level of operation? And then what are the building blocks we need from that? Not from hey, you have all this. What do you cut? It's like you have zero.
Start from the beginning.
You take from this exactly.
I'm gonna
and
actually
incentivize them to cut. Actually,
Yeah.
that smart person be like, hey, whatever you do here, you get a bonus. Some way where show me
Right.
the incentives. I show you the outcome.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So
I'm your student now. I'm your student.
So I did that last month.
We all learn
I
from
did
each other
that last
every
month
day.
in Dallas of decreasing my housekeeping costs and laundry costs. I was paying $1.35 for laundry. I shopped around many vendors' laundromats. I got down to $1.70 with the volume that I'm doing. The more volume that I have coming on, the 50 more apartments, he said I could probably go down to $0.6 to 60 cents per pound.
Yes.
One bedroom, I'm paying $35. And these are big giant one loft, one bedroom loft, one bedrooms, and that's really, really cheap for the amount of time it takes to clean.
Do you ever get worried that you pay too little and the service level goes down, or it's not sustainable
For the type of
for
people that I
them to
hire,
make money?
they do a really good job, and they're really happy with the pay they get.
Okay.
Because the alternative, right, is basically less money. Let me give you an example. I pay somebody, let's say, $35 to clean a one-bedroom loft, right? How long does it take to clean? Hour and a half? That person made, $35 in the hour, or almost $25 in an hour. The alternative is they go work some other labor job and make $10 an hour, $14 an hour, $12 an hour. So with me, they're actually getting paid a lot more. For you guys, it doesn't seem like a lot, but for them, and to put yourself in their shoes, someone who doesn't have a social security number, someone who's from South America, they have another option, right? For them, making $35 an hour, that's more than some engineers. And sometimes units aren't even that dirty. It might only take 30 minutes to clean, 40 minutes to clean. I'm not asking to pay them less. You still get 35 no matter what. You understand what I'm saying?
I know. I understand what you're saying. I always, the way I look at business, and I always try to put myself into the person's shoes, and sometimes that gets me in trouble too, but it's like a business relationship only sustainable if both will make money. If one person makes money for too long, more than another person, or the other person doesn't make money for long enough, it's not going to work.
Yes, I agree.
And then, I think business relationships, there are a lot of value to long-standing business relationships. You build that trust, those are just really, really hard to build. And the only real way to build it sustainably, in my opinion, and in my experience, is like both sides are making money. And it's like, I don't.
But at the same time, it's not worth it because you could also always be making more money. If you look at it on scale, if you actually go on Saunders job postings or front desk jobs postings and look at how much they're actually paying cleaners, it's actually even less than me. Even less than what I'm paying. I'm paying $35 for one bedroom. When they were in that building, their job post Indeed, they posted $25 a unit.
Yeah, I don't think I would use Sonder or some of those firms as a good guide to how to run their businesses.
But in general, though, what I'm trying to tell you is that in a free market economy, there's an unlimited supply of labor, especially the labor that I hire. There's an unlimited supply. I live in Dallas. You walk outside, there's hundreds and hundreds. So for the amount of money that I'm paying somebody, $25 an hour, hypothetically, up to $35 an hour, that's a lot of money to make in an hour.
That's a lot of money to make in an hour.
Yeah, a lot of people need 4-year degrees, $80,000 in student loans just to make $35 an hour.
In my market, there's not unlimited supply in my market.
Correct.
It's hard to
Chicago,
find. It's
in Texas, there's a lot.
Hard to find good people. So we need to pay them a competitive rate to keep them alive, because a lot of people can just easily go through like doing the Uber route or Uber Eats and delivery routes.
You don't have a social security number, you have a driver's license. How can you Uber?
See, that's the thing. Everyone for me is a W-9, and they have to pay taxes on their money, so I have to make sure I do that. So you just got to be careful with that too. Or else, at the end of the day, if something happens, you're going to end up be paying their taxes, and so your rate is not really your rate. It's
debatable. I've asked some experts in this field.
So I think this is a good way to transition in. How do you guys think about risks? And I'm going to divide that between personal risks and business risks.
YOLO, go all in. No, joking.
YOLO. So we have YOLO, go all in.
YOLO, go all in.
Yeah. Say, how do you think about that?
So I would say I am significantly more risky than most people. But
more than me?
Until you find somebody like Hamza, then you realize, hey, you're kind of conservative, you're scared. I need to get out of his way because I might start making him start thinking the way I think. But it depends on your situation and your family, your age, and all that, right? So as you're getting older in your life, you become less risky. You might have a family, you might have gone through certain cycles during your career or your past to see good things can go bad very quickly, and you just don't want to lose it all, right? So for me, I'm getting to the point is I have a lot, and I don't necessarily know if I get more, it'll help me be happier. So I want to make sure I keep what I have. So now I'm getting back to this less risky mindset now.
What about you?
I'm conservative by nature, and that helps and hurts.
But were you always conservative at a young age?
I was always conservative. That was just the way that I was raised from an immigrant background. I think that is that immigrant mentality that can help you and hurt you. And in certain parts of the cycle, it helps. In certain parts, it hurts. I would say with the Airbnb business specifically, I look at risks in two ways. I look at, first, what is the business risk that I'm taking? If I'm taking a lot of leases, what are my reserves? Can I survive a cycle? From a personal perspective, I want to make sure that I'm adequately insured so if things happen, that they don't impact my personal finances. And that revolves around insurance, around legal structuring. So these things that are really important as you get older. I'm 43 years old, I have 2 kids. Those things are much, much more important to me than when I was 30 years old, when I didn't have children. So that's something I'm very, very mindful of.
What about you, Hamza?
So
I want to hear from you.
So personally, as you guys know, I'm the YOLO go all in type of guy. It's all or nothing. Get rich or die trying was my motto. Ever since I was working corporate 9 to 5. I could not do this, that 9 to 5, my job forever. So I told myself, that's a really nice Lamborghini Urus. I told myself I couldn't do it forever, so I have to basically get rich or die trying. And, alhamdulillah, everything worked out. But now that I have a daughter, and I had a daughter 4 months ago, I'm starting to think like these 2 old guys here, because they both have kids as well. We're like, you know what? Maybe I'll be happy with 500 units and just run 500 units, make $5 million a year in profit, and just work on decreasing margin or increasing your margin, decreasing your costs every single year, and just be happy with it. So, I don't know. I started thinking like that too. And at the same time, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just getting started. I can get to 1,000 units in 3 years. I can get to 1,000 units in 4 years. So, I'm in that middle area right now. My main thing is I just enjoy the journey.
Okay, good. So what you just said right now, I never heard from you before. What you just said that, hey, you starting thinking about keeping at this 500 unit mark, and I want to make sure I have enough for my family, make X amount of money. That is my first time hearing that from you. Why did that change in this conversation right now? Because were you influenced on what we said and how we said it, or were you really thinking that?
No, I obviously think about it too right now that I have a daughter. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's our worst case scenario? No matter what happens, if everything stops tomorrow, the lowest I'll ever make in a month is $100,000. That's like the lowest I'll take home. If everything stops tomorrow, is $100,000 a month in profit. The lowest I'll ever make for the rest of my life now.
So why do you just say 100,000?
Based on the skill set that I have. Because I know because of the skill set that I have.
What is the skill set? Yeah, okay.
The experience that I have, just the mindset that I have of making money, $100,000, I know for a fact I can make.
So you're saying your personal brand, the trust you built.
My personal brand, the trust that I have, just me charging people $10,000 for a couple hours of talking to me, like I can do a couple of those a month. Like I easily can make $100,000 a month in profit without any question.
I agree. For you.
For me, 100%.
In your situation, yeah.
Fellas, Airbnb bus. What are your thoughts, Hamza?
Someone asked me what do I think about the Airbnb bust. I take out my phone and show them my bank account.
Okay.
How much you got in your bank account?
Too much right now.
Okay. So my answer is a little longer. So
he's gonna give you the more sophisticated, proper answer that you actually hear it for. I give you the troll answer.
So I kind of like, from a business perspective, from my Airbnb business perspective, that when people start saying Airbnb bust, because I don't want a flood of people joining the business.
I agree.
Right? If there is uncertainty in the business, then not everybody's going to say how easy it is to join.
I agree.
The business. But now that I'm in my personal branding business, I want people that believe in me, how I could guide them to be successful in this Airbnb bust. I do believe demand is down from the previous year, but I think it's normal demand that it should be, because again, it was pent up demand in the previous year. So there are certain markets that are not doing good, and again, it's because of the oversupply in those markets. But there are opportunities in niches where you can make very good money in this business. So that's where I want to tell my audience that, hey, you can still make good money from this, but let the whole society believe that, hey, you cannot. So we could be rich, but not dumb.
So I do agree with that at some point. I like it when people talk about the Airbnb bust. Less competition for us, more doors for us to take on, and more deals available for us. Give an example, and one of the buildings that I just took over, 45 units, downtown area in a city of mine, 60% of the supply has dropped in the last 2 years, pre-COVID. 60% has dropped. And I just have a 45 unit building in that area now. And that building, those units are the most profitable units this summer. So in those areas where supply is dropping like crazy, might be opportunity there.
Yeah. That was a very good answer, by the way. I actually don't have much to add to that. I would just be repeating. I would just be repeating. I think Syed's answer was right. Is there Airbnb bust? Yes, but it's not nationwide. Certain markets that are oversaturated.
Agreed.
Those markets don't go in there. Is there opportunity in markets in certain layouts? Absolutely. Where I'm making money, Hamza's making money, Syed's making money. The reason we're making money is because we know which markets to go to, what has the right layout, how to design it, how to operate it. If you approach this as a business, you will maximize your chance of success. If you're a tourist that came in 21, 22, overpaid, you don't know what you're doing, those are the people that are going to the Airbnb bus. So don't be that person.
So also another thing as well, right? Seasonality aspect. Last year, June, July, even August, in Austin, I was making like okay money. It wasn't that bad. This year, I didn't even make more than $100 in profit per unit in Austin over June, July, and August. Pretty much just break even for 3 months in a row. But now that October is right around the corner, I have one bedrooms being booked for $500 a night, $600 a night, and the rent's $1,600. It's actually the numbers in October this year are better than last year. So it's just like, man, because like the seasonality is so, it swings so much. If I would have got more units in Austin and just ignored those 3 months of breaking even, I would have made more money than ever this October.
So what lessons do you learn from that? Like how are you going to prevent that from happening to you?
Just YOLO, man. Just keep getting more units.
just be happy with the wins
Be
you
happy,
got.
yeah,
You
be
cannot
happy,
win
yeah.
every single opportunity.
I had somebody offer me 25 units in Austin
That's-
in June, and I said no because I'm like, I'm making no money for the last 3 months. I don't want any more apartments in
That's
Austin.
fine, but you won.
This October
you won
comes,
in Detroit. You won
I
in
know.
Philly. You won in Dallas. So it's okay.
Of course.
If you win 10 times and lose one game, it's not basketball when you lose to me.
Yeah, so you can't win them all, but my main thing is just having more W's than L's. That's the biggest thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And then when you have the W's, when you win, make sure to win big.
Big,
and when
big.
you lose small, right?
Yes.
Cut your losses early. There's no need to wait for a loss to get big enough for it to hurt. You know something doesn't work, get out of it. If you know something is working, double down and make sure that you maximize those opportunities. Because those chances in life are few and far between. And when you get one of them, make sure you squeeze as much value as you can.
Yeah, fire early, cut losses early.
Bad early.
Yeah.
Bad relationships get out early. Everything.
That's huge. The relationship part is huge.
We're talking about from like a romantic standpoint, not from like a landlord
No, but
standpoint.
I'm talking from a landlord standpoint.
You're talking from a romantic standpoint.
No,
You
but
have
also
relationships early.
romancing, landlord, employee, partner, anything.
Everything.
Everything, man. Just like if it's not working, get out.
Now to wrap things up, I'm going to ask each person here what their goal is with their business over the next 12 months and what they plan to achieve and where they plan to take it.
So for me, I have goals in two different types of businesses for me. For my rental arbitrage business, I'm looking to reduce my costs, reduce my expense, lower my salary, employee expense, reduce the amount of VAs I have, reduce the amount of runners I have, and increase my margins. Number two is I'm letting go of a lot of units, so I have to solve that problem by putting this furniture into other units. So I have to do some business development during the winter time, which I'm excited for because I think I'm going to get some good deals. I'm going to kind of wait a little bit for January and February to come because I don't want to start these units.
Right. Start them after that.
Yeah.
winter.
So I get the busy season, but then I'm not planning to grow to this crazy 350, 400 number. Well, I can do it, but I want to have strategic partnerships with people I'm comfortable doing business with right now. I'm not looking to find the next guy and the next guy. I'm just looking to make this a nice, easy business. Number two is I'm looking to expand my personal brand business. I'm looking to continuously put out valuable content. I'm looking to increase my followings on social media and eventually get into the coaching and course business.
So you want to be a guru?
I was always the guru. I was the guru to the gurus.
I'm going to be a famous guru.
So Hamza will now better start admitting that whenever he has a problem that comes to him on his business, because it's a high level problem, he does come to me to ask me for
crazy shit happens?
Yes.
Yo, how do you solve this?
Yeah, because I've been through a lot of the experiences that he's going through now in the past because I had that huge volume count of my short-term rentals. So it's nice to get the respect from
There's
him.
one thing you did tell me, which was funny. When I had like 70 apartments and he had like 250, he said it's not a matter of if you're gonna get sued, it's only when you're gonna get sued. And I didn't believe him. And then go down the road, shit happens.
One time, I'll tell you guys a story. One time, I'm playing Call of Duty with Hamza, and then while we're playing Call of Duty, he forwards me a lawsuit that he receives in the middle of a game. And then he goes back to saying, hey, do you want to play one-on-one? I'm like, wait, what? If I got an email like that, I would go straight, turn off the
These
thing.
are like 5, 10K like bullshit emails.
Bro, that was
you
more
just
than 5,
basically
10K, bro.
What is it, 10, 15, same thing. You pay it off and they basically buzz off. You never hear from them again.
But I want that. I want to be in that situation where I get some crazy-ass email like that, and I say F you, and then continue with my day.
For me, it's like if a problem can be solved with money,
Yeah.
it's not really a problem.
Those are the
Just
best problems.
Those are the best problems. Those are easy. I just throw money at it, problem goes
That's
away.
what I've
Don't have to
told you
think about
too.
it. I agree with them 100%. You throw money at the problem, it's never a problem, goes away. There's money, you can always make more money.
Yes.
So that's your goal for your business, okay? So, well, you, Mike, what's your goal for your business for the next 12 months?
My goal is not to get sued. My goal is not to have the kind of problems that you have at 250 units, 400 units. So I very purposely have a 30-unit portfolio that's highly profitable, very, very tight in one city. I believe simplicity drives value. And what that means is I don't want to overcomplicate my life and having multiple different types of properties in different cities. I find one good market, one good developer, and I build within that relationship. It makes my life easier. It simplifies my business,
Hey, increase your
and
risk profile,
I
what do you think?
maximize my margins. your risk profile increases, yes, because you have concentration risk. But I think diversification actually is a false god. And the reason is when you're too diversified, when you're too diversified, you're trying to do too many things, and one person can only do so many things at one time. So if you're spread too thin, you're going to start missing things, and that diversification, de-risking that you thought, is actually incremental risk to your business. So I'm going to keep my business small and tight. I'm going to continue to grow in my market. I'm going to increase my rental arbitrage portfolio because I think there's actually a lot more opportunity now versus the last 2 years when rents are skyrocketing. So you have rents coming down now. You have a lot more motivated landlords. You have a lot of multifamily that was being built from the low interest rate environment. Those are coming online now. Those developers need to get people in their units, and now I'm going to be able to offer a solution to them to be able to fill their units with high quality Airbnb guests. And I'm very, very excited for that. Second, moreover, I'm going to continue to buy property so I can unlock the advantages of combining rental arbitrage with buying properties, because if you can keep more of the money that you make, that's how you really compound value. Everyone forgets that they have a business partner in all their deals. It's Uncle Sam. He takes 40% unless you manage that properly. So I found ways where you combine rental arbitrage and buying where you can defer that tax liability and really increase your net worth by buying additional properties and put it onto your existing Airbnb platform. So that's my plan for 2024.
Good plan.
All right, so before I tell you what was my plan, I want to disagree with both of you on what you said about diversification. I strongly advise you to diversify. You don't have to go to multiple cities, but with the number of landlords. If you're working with one landlord and you own 100% of your entire business, it takes literally one day for him to wake up and have a really bad mood. And you know what? I don't like Michael. I don't like his face. He has a weird haircut, and basically not renew you, and then you have no business anymore. You're completely out of business, and that's happened to a lot of people. Do you agree? If one of your landlords,
hold on. That may be true, but when you have contracts that are written and negotiated between lawyers,
contracts are done, what happens?
I have an extension on there.
When those are done, then what happens?
That's 2028, and I'll deal with that problem then. I'll get a haircut and look better, and then maybe he'll like my face then. But I have 6 years to solve that problem.
If landlords want you out, they can always find a way.
They'll
always find a way out.
Correct.
His landlords will send the mafia of Chicago to his house if they want him out.
Contracts, in my opinion, don't
No,
mean
his
shit.
landlords will literally send the mafia of Chicago to his house if they want him out.
Contracts, in my experience, don't mean
Don't
much.
mean anything.
Yes, but I agree with both of you guys, but I'm getting on the mindset of what Michael is doing right now. So for me, I've gone through cycles where I felt like I had too much risk with one landlord, where I'm like, oh crap, what if he tells me I need to go away? Let me just go out, branch out to all these other ones. And then I did do that. But those other ones caused me the most problems, the most stress.
It's like you're dating. You start throwing darts at the board and see which one you can work with.
Right. So but I did find the one landlord. I'm married to this landlord now, and we've grown to 180 units, and we're so.
So you have 180 units with one landlord.
With one landlord.
Let's say, for example, something happens where he's like, you know what, I don't want to stay it anymore.
There's no way, because I'm in too many of his units, and we're too involved with each other now, and we have too good of a relationship where I just want to just keep that relationship for the rest of my life if possible.
You know that saying, right, where you owe the bank $1 million?
Correct.
They own you. When you owe them $1 billion,
you own them.
You own them.
I agree with you to some extent.
Yes.
But at the same time, relationships do change over time. 2-3 years down the road,
yes,
anything can happen, especially with someone who owns the property that you're making money from. Anything can happen. Literally anything.
So people
having 70% of your portfolio with one guy, in my opinion, is way too much.
So it has happened to me where there was one other guy that kept me in business with 65 units, like during COVID time, which was maybe 70% of my income.
Yeah.
And then now today I'm not with him. Now
Correct,
he bought me out out of my furniture at a property, and now he's kicking me out. So yes and no. Your relationships, how strong they could be. I knew that relationship wasn't strong, but I know this one is strong. I know this one's gonna last for a long.
You think it's strong right now. Right. You have no idea what that person thinks in their head.
Right.
It's strong because you're giving him value. The day you stop giving value, or the day you become a problem for him, where there's lenders, investors, it takes one guest to burn a building down.
Yeah.
That relationship's over.
But we've gone through so many problems over our time. Over the 5 years that we've gone through COVID. Yeah, I'm in love. I'm married.
He's more than married. He's like in love. Yeah. Where no matter what anyone says about him, he's like, you know what? I love this person forever. I'm never gonna let them go.
Because
I want to hit that point about contracts, and I want people to not I think it would be a disservice to say that the contracts don't matter, right? Obviously, what's on paper.
No, yeah, you're right too. You're right.
What's on paper really does matter. So
does,
as you're
yes.
negotiating contracts, signing contracts, they matter, right? Your personal credit, your reputation. So it's easy to say that this is a matter, we're going to figure it out. But if you actually get sued and go to a court of law or you sue someone else, that piece of paper really does matter. So don't discount that.
You're right too.
Fair enough.
Both you guys
Yeah.
are right on that. Too.
There's a reason why I diversify.
agree.
There's a reason why I diversify with housekeepers. I never want someone to have full leverage over me, right? If I have, for example, 6 buildings in a city, I'm gonna have multiple different cleaning companies working on, multiple different buildings. I'm gonna give all that business to one person. Because tomorrow they decide, I don't work for Hums anymore. I'm gonna jack up the prices. What are you gonna say? For example, with you, let's say your landlord tomorrow tells you, Sayed, I'm doing a 10% rent increase across the board for 70% of your entire portfolio. What are you gonna say?
I tell him yes.
Because that's what I'm saying. You have no
Yes.
leverage.
Because I'll see how it goes, and if it comes saying that, hey, I am losing 200,000 every month on yours, you need to make me whole again. He needs to come to the table and understand, hey, let's reduce. We're in this together, and I believe he will do that because we've gone through COVID together, and that's what his first response. He said, he said the exact words, "We're in this together. If you're losing, I'm losing too. So let me get
This
you."
guy found a day one to
That's what I'm
he found a
saying.
ride or die landlord.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
he was. He was like, I benefited from our
Yo, what's his
relationship.
name, bro? I'm about to hit him up soon now.
He's trying to get my wifey.
Yo, keep your girl away from Hamza.
Keep, yeah.
Keep a landlord away from Hamza.
He's
Keep
that,
your
like-
landlord away from Hamza.
He's that handsome guy that'll come in and the landlord will be like, "Ooh, you look good." Like,
It's like that meme when that girl walks by.
Yeah. No, 100%. Facts. Agreed. Now, for my goal, it's not like these guys. I want to go all in. I want to go crazy. I want to go all in as much as I possibly can. I want to YOLO it. I want to get to 500 units. I want to get to 400 units. I'm at 350 right now. I'll be at 400 by the end of this year. And the goal for basically next year is to get to 500 plus. If I'm at 500 units, doing $3,000 a month in revenue each unit, that's about $1.5 million a month. Per year, it's about $18 million a year. If I can take home 30% of that, it's about a little over $4 to $6 million. I'm very happy with it. So that's my goal.
$4 to $6 million profit.
Yeah,
That's
$4
good
million in profit. I'm not far from 500 units. I'm only 150 units away. That's like 3 big deals for me, realistically.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any more 5 units here, 4 units here. This doesn't interest me. I want the 40 units, a new construction. I just signed I'm pretty much done deal now at this point. 75 units and another city. Fully permitted, hotel license in a great market. And that's a 75 unit deal all happening at one time. I have a 50 unit deal I'm furnishing right now. I just finished a 45 unit building 2 months ago. So these are the type of deals that I'm taking now, and I can get to 500 with like just 4 emails realistically.
4 emails, yeah.
4 emails gets me to 500 units.
But I'm really curious to see how that 50 unit in that one market plays out. That's like a do or die for him
I know.
to know if he can get a 500 that easily. Because then if that works, then you're a genius.
Yep.
And yes, 500 units you'll get in a couple of emails. But if it doesn't work, then you're gonna rethink if that strategy is gonna work. So
I agree.
let's see-
Yeah,
let's
look,
see how it plays out.
I think
We're gonna see how it plays out.
Yeah.
to Hamza's credit, he has shown an ability to be very creative and looking at opportunities and monetizing those type of opportunities at a very, very high level. So I think credit to you for demonstrating that skill. It's easy to say, hard to do.
I agree.
Right.
All right, well, we look forward to the next conversation we have in Chicago.
Who said we're going to Chicago?
Yeah, we're
We're
going to
going to Chicago.
That's where we're gonna play
That's
one-on-one.
the ghetto, bro. we're going to New York next.
We'll see you guys not in Dallas next time.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you listened to everything my friends and I talked about in growing and scaling your arbitrage portfolio. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram where I post the daily life, the real behind the scenes of an 8-figure Airbnb entrepreneur. My Instagram is HumzaZafar, my TikTok is HumzaZafarBnB, and my Twitter is ZafarBnB. You can find Michael at...
You can find me on Instagram at Michael Chang BNB. I'm a former investment banker. I've done $40 billion of deals in my career, and you'll learn how I translated those skills into building a $2 million Airbnb business and using that to buy $7 million of Airbnb real estate. I also have a podcast, STR Like the Best.
And you can find Sayed at...
You can find me at the exotic car dealership. Just kidding. You can find me on Instagram at SayedBNB, and you can hear about the stories that I go through on also being an 8-figure Airbnb host.